Good morning, everybody. We have been back from our month-long Welsh road trip now for a couple of weeks, and I've totally been putting off doing these numbers. So first, if you're new here, then hi, my name's Janie. I travel with Johnny, aka the Grumpy Builder, Sunny, my little rescue dog, and Noodle, our 2003 diesel Volkswagen LT35 camper van. We left Cornwall on May the 13th. We drove up to Bristol, crossed over the bridge, which thankfully is free, into Wales. Then we spent a month mostly exploring the mountains in the Brecon Beacons and in Snowdonia National Park. Now, before we could start exploring, we had to meet up with a mobile mechanic we'd booked in Caerwent, who specialises in vans like ours, so he could replace the cam belt. He originally quoted £620, but when he got under the bonnet, he found more things that needed changing, so the total bill came to £1,165. Yeah, so that was a pricey start to our trip, but knowing that the cam belt was fresh and shiny and new, and he managed to get rid of our oil leak too, well, that made us hopeful that we wouldn't have any more expensive dramas on the road. Now, in terms of mileage across the whole trip, unfortunately, we didn't get a photo of the mileage thingy on the dash when we got back home, so I can't actually tell you how many miles we did. Rookie error, I know. And on a more personal note, it's also worth noting that Johnny and I aren't married. Our finances are generally kept separate, but we both pay into a joint bank account for funding these adventures. And we also both spent more than is listed below from our personal accounts. But if you're trying to plan for a trip like this, then the following amounts covered the bones of the trip, like the fuel and the laundry and the parking, plus 3 main meals a day. However, any junk food or booze that we wanted came out of our own cash, as we both have wildly different tastes. And finally, I need to say that I lost my little cat Sass 3 days before we left. So all my pure intentions of meal planning and strict budgeting and keeping my shit together totally went out the window. I was sad I couldn't plan more than where we were going to park up the next night, and I ate a lot of sushi to make me feel better. And even crappy dry supermarket sushi is expensive. So, with all that in mind, let's get into those numbers. Food. Now, I budgeted £40 a week for this, and we ended up spending £200 and 2 pence for the entire month, or £50 a week. Now, bearing in mind my meal planning was non-existent, and I spent 25% of 1 week's budget on a joint of pork from the UK's most expensive supermarket, I'll take that. Diesel, we budgeted £100 a week for fuel, but we only spent £279.81 in total, or £69.95 a week. So that more than covers the food overspend. Hurrah! Eating out, the budget was £10 a week here, just so we could get a coffee every now and then, and in total we spent £27.85 or £6.90 a week. Yeah. Oh, we definitely spent more than that from our personal accounts. I took Johnny out for breakfast in the first week because I felt I needed to apologise for being so sad and weepy. And then the very next day, he took me out for breakfast. So, you know, swings and roundabouts. Touristy stuff and parking. We budgeted £5 a week just so we had wriggle room, and we spent £8.50 in total all month. So just £2 to 12 pence per week. A quick note on this, we spent the bulk of the month in the mountains, where parking and overnight parking was free. If, however, you spend a lot of time in towns, touristy areas or near the coast, you will be paying a lot more for parking, so do bear that in mind. Maintenance, we budgeted £10 a week, and we spent a total of £5.19 all month, and that was on an anti-static strip to fix on the bottom of the van so that Sunny and I could stop giving each other zaps. It worked, by the way, although saying that, the weather changed around the same time, so maybe there just wasn't as much static in the van anyway. Who knows? Laundry. This one actually really stung. We budgeted £10 a week or £40 a month, and we did come in under budget at £32 for the whole month, but that was washing and drying 2 loads of laundry. £16 a pop. It was so much cheaper to use the Revolution washing machines in France than in Wales, weirdly. Who knew? Campsites and showers. We wanted to see if we could go a whole month without booking onto a campsite, and we did. Instead, we budgeted £20 for the month to be able to use showers at leisure centres, and we both paid for 3 showers each at a grand total of £19.60. So we were 40p under budget in that category. So, excluding the pricey work we had done on the van and our personal sushi funds, That makes our grand total for our budget month in Wales, drumroll please, of £572.97. Was that good value? Heck yes! It was an amazing trip. The weather was insanely good. Sonny crossed another country off his bucket list and I fell head over heels for Wales, and especially those mountains. One thing I did realise though is if I'm not 100% in a good place, like at the beginning of the trip with losing my beautiful cat, then my spending goes off kilter and something as simple as meal planning goes right out the window. Now, I know that's a problem for a lot of you too, as I've been creating camping recipes for a very long time and I've got loads of feedback over the years from my email subscribers. So I am going to be taking notice of all of that, and very soon I'm going to be releasing an entirely new project aimed at road trippers and campers and motorhomers and adventurers. You can get early free access now simply by signing up to my email newsletter if you haven't already, and if you have already subscribed then watch out for an email coming soon. The whole entire project is still kind of being created, but I'm so excited to share it with you all, so watch this space. Right, that's enough chatter for one day. I need coffee, so see ya.